you give me a little introduction to your music, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, do you want just like a basic history of what I do and how I came to be and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that's fine. And then I have a few questions for you.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, so the Skeptik project, I started kind of a side project when I was playing in a band back in like around 2008 to 2012-ish. And at the time, I was just kind of doing really simple death metal kind of stuff. I didn't know anything about like production, all that kind of thing. But I, wrote a lot of stuff that we didn't use in the band, so it was kind of just like an outlet for that. Um, and then when I quit out of that band, it was called Ethnogenesis. Everyone thought we were a Genesis cover band, but we were like a metal band, just with a questionable name. But yeah, when I quit the band, I actually started rapping. I was a rapper in St. Louis for a little while, and did that for a while before I got a little bit of more experience at the recording and mixing and all that sort of stuff. So once that came along, I started incorporating guitars back into it and all that sort of thing, and then started messing around with synthesizers and keyboards and all that good stuff. So where it has kind of landed today, it sort of depends on the day, or the month or the season or the mood that I'm in, what kind of music I'm making. But I mainly do a lot of stuff that's rooted in like folk metal or industrial. And a lot of it, like the vocal patterns of it, still incorporate kind of the rhythms from the hip hop days. So it's a big mesh of a whole bunch of different kinds of music that I like. So I basically just make the music that I want to listen to, and that is the short history of Skeptik.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. Why did you decide to do everything yourself instead of trying to find bandmates and everything?
Mainly just ease, you know. Um, well, for one, I shift around what I'm doing a whole lot. So like it would be hard to find bandmates who want to play like industrial metal one day and then want to do like straight up folk metal another day and then want to do death metal or whatever else that I want to do. I do like rap metal every once in a while too. But there's that, and then I've got a family and a career and all that sort of stuff. So the long practices and getting everybody together wasn't really working out too well for me. That's actually why I quit the band that I was in, is because I just had so much other stuff going on in life that I couldn't make time to practice the same way that the other guys did. But yeah, and then kind of as I started doing things myself, I just kind of kept doing that. I had toyed around with the idea of playing live shows the past couple of years, and I had a few friends, actually, a few people that I played in that band with, who said, if I wanted to do live shows, they'd be willing to learn the parts to play and all that sort of stuff. But nothing ever really came of that. And then the whole lockdown with the way that things are right now, there's obviously not any sort of urgency to gather people together and make that happen. So I'm kind of just sort of staying in the lane that I'm in right now. But I collaborate a lot with a lot of different artists from across the country, and I'm even working on a few projects with people from different parts of the world. So, it's not always just me. There are other ideas and voices that you'll hear in the music, but yeah, that's why it kind of stayed a one-man band for a long time.
So have you thought about doing a stream right now because you can't get together with anybody and do a live show or anything? Have you thought about streaming anything?
I've thought about it, yeah. And I haven't really looked into it too much on how to set up that kind of thing. Whether I would just like grab an acoustic guitar and then do a set of acoustic stuff or something like that, or if I would try to, because I don't have like a PA system or anything like that, so I basically have to be playing the music over a speaker or something like that and doing the vocals live over it or something. But it's something I've considered, and I haven't exactly like tossed the idea out the window yet, but I haven't done all of the research that I need to in order to actually make that happen yet.
So, if the pandemic eases up toward next year, toward the end of this year, what would you want to get accomplished if you have less restrictions on what you can do?
Yeah, I mean, a big goal is to someday be able to actually like get on stage and do some of the songs live. Whether it's with a full band or whether it's just with an instrumental playing in the background, that kind of thing. I aim to one day do at least a live show, if not a little bit more than that. But yeah, that's the main goal really. If in the case, well, fingers crossed, hopefully we'll be this time next year we'll be in a much more solid place across the country than we are now. But,
So, who would you say are your top five influences since you like doing one music one day and one a different kind of music the next day? Who would you say would be your main?
yeah, let's see, top five. I'll try to limit it to five. I listen to a whole lot of different music, but I listen to a lot of Blind Guardian.
Oh, I
Um,
love them.
yeah, for sure. And then I also am really big into Power Man 5000. Um, a lot of the industrial stuff takes a lot of influence um, from that band. And then I would say, as far as the vocal style, I take a lot of influence from the like really fast rap kind of music. So like Tech Nine, is a big influence in that way. And then um, there's three. Let's see. I would say like the band that really got me into music, originally was the Moody Blues. I wouldn't say that I incorporate a whole lot of style of the Moody Blues into what I play, but like that was kind of what the music that made me want to sing in the first place. Um, and then In Flames, I would say, is probably the other big influence that I've carried with me for a while. The kind of like Swedish melodic death metal style is one that I've always held very close to my heart. So,
Yeah, and Flames was the band that got me into metal when I was 11, so
right on.
I'm very familiar with them. Um, if you could tour with any of them, who would it be?
I mean, all of them. If I could just put all of them onto a tour, that would be pretty terrific. Um, yeah, no, I would say definitely. Like any of those artists, I would be like thrilled to tour with. Yeah, I mean, my music would probably fit in the most with In Flames if I had to like narrow it down a little bit. Just because I follow a more similar pattern to what they play. So
So, let me ask you a similar question. Which country would you want to go to, or state would you want to go to, if you could
ooh,
pick
that's
any
a
place?
that's a good question. I think about leaving this state all the time. Actually, me and my wife both discuss it on a weekly basis. But I would I'd love to go to New Zealand, Finland. I'd love to go to like South America. Brazil. Um, Ireland. I actually have a lot of ancestry that goes back to Ireland, so you know, visiting there would be pretty excellent. And then it's actually a fun story. I am the lord of a square yard of land in Scotland. So I someday want to visit the square yard of land that I am the lord of in Scotland. It was just like a birthday present my wife got for me one year. You can basically go online and declare somebody a lord of any size of property in Scotland. They're uh, just a thing you can do, I guess. So yeah, I have a pin and everything that declares that I am a lord of Scotland. So
That's a cool present, though.
yeah, for sure.
I'm surprised you didn't mention touring in New York or anything like that, because it seems like a
Oh,
lot of
I
bands
mean,
want to go to New York or
for sure. Yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of outside of the U.S.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean New York, California. Yeah, like Oregon, Illinois. Like there's so many there's so many great places around the country. New Jersey's another one. Um, I would I'd like to play in someday. I actually have I've collaborated with a few musicians in New Jersey, or collaborated or have upcoming music with um, some musicians out that way. So yeah, to be able to head out that way and do a show sometime would be awesome also. So yeah, anywhere in the U.S. really would be great. Like just to have a road gig somewhere.
Well, right now, all I've basically seen is they're doing like the drive-in shows where people stay in their car and watch it, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
or the limited capacity social distance type shows where everybody stands 6 feet apart and watches it.
yeah. Right. It's a whole nother dynamic these days. Like it's great that we have the ability to do the drive-in kind of shows and stuff like that. But it's it's not the same as it's not the same feeling that you get from being at a show in person and feeling like the energy of the band off the stage and all that kind of thing. And I have pretty solid faith that we'll get back to that, but it's great that we have the ability to do what we can right now. But as far as the social distancing concerts, I can't really do that too. I'm considered in the high risk category because I'm a type 1 diabetic. So I have been taking more precaution than most. I think as when it comes to the whole state of things with COVID and all that. So
Yeah, we've been taking precautions too because I have two sons, so I certainly wouldn't want to pass anything on to them. So
for sure, yeah,
we've been taking advantage of some stores are doing where you can drive up and they'll put the groceries in your car and stuff. We've been doing that to avoid
yeah.
going to the stores and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've been utilizing the grocery pickup, and there's some delivery services that do groceries now and all that. So we're doing the same thing. Then we basically sanitize everything before it comes into the house, and sometimes we feel crazy doing it. Like like do we actually need to wipe down every article of everything before it even enters the house? But like it's easier to do that now than to be on a ventilator in a couple weeks. And so
Have schools started back there or not yet?
yeah. My kids actually well, my oldest is doing remote currently. She's um, like got the computer from school and has a teacher give lessons over the screen and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think they're ending their second or third week this week. So yep.
My son's starting September 14th, so but because his school is smaller, they're doing 1 day a week in person and the rest virtual until they see if how it works out and everything.
Right. Yep. Do what you can, right? Like trying to trying to keep kids on some level of normalcy despite everything that they're going through that they don't understand, you know. It's crazy times.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I got you off topic about the
It's all
music,
good.
but I know the pandemic is something important to think about and everything though.
For sure.
Um, I guess the next question I want to ask you is when you were growing up, did you know you wanted to be a musician or did you have other interests at the time?
Yeah, I had a few other interests growing up, but I've always had music close to my heart and all that. Like I said, I started listening to kind of the music that my parents would turn on when I was a kid and would sing along with it and all that. I mean, it's not a career for me by any means. It's not what pays the bills or anything. I have a day job, but yeah, I always knew that I wanted to play music in some facet or another. But when I was a kid, my dream was to be an oceanographer. I wanted to study sharks in the ocean. But as I got older, I fell away from that desire.
So are you self-taught or did you learn along the way from somebody?
A little bit of both. So I took piano lessons when I was in kindergarten, for a year or so, and then I started learning bagpipes when I was a young teenager, probably like 13 or so. I picked up guitar a little bit after that, and my little brother actually was taking guitar lessons, and he would bring home like sheets of guitar tabs, like simple ones from like Black Sabbath and Metallica and all that. And so I would listen to what he was playing and like watch what he was doing, and then try to mimic it. So yeah, my little brother kind of inadvertently uh, taught me guitar. But yeah, as far as like music theory and all that sort of stuff, I don't know basically anything about it. I play everything by ear, and I kind of approach songwriting the same way. I find what sounds good. I find a melody that resonates for me, or I find a story that I think can be told through music and build it off of that. So yeah, so it's a mix of learning from others and self propulsion there.
That's a good way to go through with it though. I mean, I don't think you need hours and hours of, being taught by somebody to know how to do something.
For sure. I mean, it definitely, it helps to have that fundamental music theory in your knowledge base, but yeah, it's not like you can't craft decent music without being classically trained.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me, and I have one more question, if that's okay, to wrap
Yeah,
this
for
up.
sure.
Um, what kind of legacy do you want to leave with your music? What do you want people to get from it?
It's not really something I've particularly thought about, honestly. Like leaving a legacy behind. I kind of just want to play music, and hopefully somebody will listen to it and enjoy it, or something will stick with them, or anything like that. I would hope that when people, you know, in a ideal scenario, people think of the band Skeptic. They'd be like, oh yeah, that was a decent guy, made a lot of music. It was it didn't suck, that kind of thing. So yeah, as far as a legacy, I'm hoping that kind of that road will be through I don't know my actions on this earth rather than the actual music itself, kind of thing.
Well, I definitely think your music is good and you'll leave an impact, you know.
Thank you kindly.
I'd like to talk to you again when you've hit like a milestone, like putting out a new album or you put out your first concert, you know, something that I have some more questions I can ask you, that sort of
For
thing, if
sure.
that's okay.
Yeah. I'm hoping to have another album out later this year, maybe early next year, depending on how quickly everything can come together. Um, I've actually got enough material for a couple of albums, but I think I kind of want to space it out a little bit so it's not just an overload all at once. But yeah, for sure, definitely can follow up when something new happens.
Okay. Well, I appreciate this interview and you taking the time to talk to me.
For sure, yeah, I appreciate you, reaching out and accepting interviews and all that.
Well, I should have this up the latest Saturday, so
Very
send
cool.
I'll send you the link when I have it up.
Sounds good.
I hope you and your family have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. You do the same.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.